really miss him. After 52 years with him, I was kind of used to having him around. And what you're hearing is my diabetes monitor who's saying that my blood sugar is high. And it's because everyone has been so sweet today and so nice to me.
Charles was a great parent, and he raised some phenomenal children. He had a real knack for knowing the right way to handle kids, and Paul and Elizabeth are the proof of that.
He was taught me a lot, raised me well, showed me many things in how to get through life and deal with things. We had a good long life with him, 80 years, just a good time.
We had some house plants that had these little tiny bugs. And I was gonna just switch them. And he was like, no, let's take them outside. And he got this piece of paper and he took these little tiny bugs outside because he saw the value in everything.
I think as a kid, you don't realize it, but like how much he worked for his family. He stayed at home and took care of the house and took care of the kids, and was kind of just the thing that kept everybody together.
Yeah, I didn't really know that it was kind of atypical for Dad to be at home until I got to school, and everyone was like, "Oh, your dad's at home."
Walking to school, we'd stop at the auto parts store or Neely's Auto Service and talk to the mechanics and just be sociable with everybody on the way.
Eating food that he prepared and sitting down, like it was always this is a mealtime and it's special when we sit together and we enjoy each other's time.
Getting ready for dinner, and we'd all wash our hands and he'd put on some classical music and we'd sit there at the table and talk to our mom about how her day was, and then we'd tell a little bit about our day. And it was just good, always good family time.
I think Charles made a room feel more full when he walked in, and that's one of the biggest things that I'll miss about him. He was never too trying to get into the action or like crazy, but he always made it feel full and homely. And whenever he came around, I was always excited to talk to him about whether it be the most random stuff. It was always fun, whether it be high boy or Chinese food or speakers. It was always fun, and he made the room feel very full.
Charles would order Chinese food every now and again when we would have the family over. And one of the meals that he would specifically order was the Happy Family. And one thing that Charles would always have was a small boxes that you would push a button and it would give like applause or laughter behind that. And every time that somebody would say Happy Family, he would hit the button that would give applause and laughter. And so after a while, everybody at the table, when somebody would say Happy Family, would go, yay. And that happened, I think, just a couple of weeks ago after he had passed, to where we had ordered Chinese food and ordered Happy Family. And the second somebody said, who wants some more Happy Family? Of course, me carrying that baton of puns, yay. So yes, many different small puns and anecdotes still float around in my memory and are reused today.
You know what I really liked about Charles was his kindness. He just cared about family, and he cared about people around him, and he wanted things to be right.
When I got to Kansas City, it was a difficult time in my life, and Charles and Nietzsche gave me a lot of confidence to, go ahead on my own.
All of us together respect him a great deal. He was the leader, whether he wanted to be or not. He was the one who taught us really what it means to become an adult.
I just remember his smile and gentleness and his ability to work with other people and to help make a difference.
He was such a great listener and made you feel really heard. So that is something I would miss, that, just being able to say something and know that somebody was actually listening.
I think he just valued people and their opinions, and he knew that we all had to work together, but we have to try to honor everyone at the same time. And he thought he could make a difference, and he really wanted good for everyone. You know, he didn't want people to be left behind, that we should all go together.
He would not wear the matching socks. He'd wear two socks that didn't go together.
I have one red sock on and one black sock on because Charlie always wore different socks to class. When he went to class, he'd do that just to see if people would notice.
My fourth child never wears the same pair of socks. She always wears mismatched socks. Now she's 22 years old and she's still wearing mismatched socks. I don't know if there's a connection there or not.
And he would hide little rubber snakes and lizards and things all around the house for everybody to find.
And on a sunny day like today, he would always carry an umbrella just to make people think it was going to rain or wonder what was going on.
They would get a single piece of candy and the little Brock's soft, chewy toffees. And he took the candy out and he rolled in green beans. And when they unrolled the candy and they saw the green beans, they must have made a mistake at the factory.
One night in particular, I remember Charlie had been at our house and we'd been watching, I think, The Twilight Zone, and it was really scary. So Charlie left. It wasn't too long after that, we heard a scratching at our door. I mean, that was scary because we'd been watching a scary TV show, this scratching, and I'd go open the door, there was nothing there. I'd close the door, there'd be more scratching again. This continued for a while till we finally figured out Charlie was standing on the ground floor stairs and was having a ball scaring the crap out of us. That was just the kind of guy Charlie was.
Charles was a photographer of many simple things that had meaning once you looked at it. Many of his pictures required you to sit there and kind of immerse in it. You would start to see the genius behind that. You would start to see how he chose the lighting just perfectly, the angle perfectly. His exposure was done so well. So where I think the untrained eye wouldn't be able to recognize a lot of these things. Enjoyed going through his photographs all the way up until last week of the pictures he took in Vietnam. Amazing photographer.
The other thing he sent me when he was in Vietnam was a picture of the Black Virgin Mountain. And I took that picture and I had Christmas cards made out of it, thinking it was a nice contrast between peace on earth and here's war in Vietnam, but here's a peaceful mountain to show that.
Been taking photos his whole life. Documenting fire scenes is a job that some people do or don't want. That it's not about all the big flames and everything, but it's about the firefighters working, and that it's more than just the high action energy. That it's more. So the fire photos is a good tool and a good morale builder for the firemen. That they get to see photos of them in action, making other people's lives better, and in a bad situation.
The house is very empty, and he loved his cats, and they feel I'm a very poor substitute. And they sit around and stare at me until I sit down so that I can hold them and pet them. And the fact that you could walk in and he'd have a record on the stereo, and it would be a beautiful piece of music that just sort of, made your day better.
We'll miss him. We miss him now. And we miss him on the committee and miss him as a friend and a neighbor.
So, Charlie, we miss you. It was great being with you those college years, and we wish we could be with you again.
Conversations, that's what you miss about anybody you lose. the ability to talk to him. We're going to miss him. And, it was a great time. I'm glad all the fun we had together.
I'm going to miss talking to him. I'm going to miss talking to him a lot.
Charles was a sweet, caring gentleman. He was always a gentleman. And the world needs more gentlemen. I'm glad we have this. So when I miss him, I can go back. I can also share this event with the friends who couldn't get here, but also when the adrenaline's gone, I will be able to relive all the nice things that I'm learning about him.